We are newly formed. I mean, we started basically writing over COVID, just kind of really organically evolved, which is part of why it's so exciting, because it wasn't one of these like forced entities of like, well, you know, this band member, it was, everybody's just like happy to be there. We put out a record and it just in June, and it's been doing pretty well, and we're booking dates, and we submitted to see if we could make Prize Fest, and we made it in. And so like it's just been this really exciting, fun collaboration that's just blossomed into a beautiful thing. I think that's the beauty of music and art as a whole. I mean, I think if there's one language in general that brings people together across continents, really is the arts. You know, I mean, music, in my opinion, specifically, and I love, you know, film and fine art and sculpture and dance and all of those things. They're all a language that are incredible. But the one thing about music is that, I mean, people identify regardless if they understand the lyrics or not. I started my career as a backup singer for Christina Aguilera, and then released a solo record that did pretty well, and then had a duo that was signed, and we toured and opened for Adam Lambert and Boyz II Men and Michelle Branch and Christina. I've sung on Ringo Starr's record. I am a Grammy-nominated songwriter, and I've toured and traveled a lot with my voice, which has been my blessing in life. It's been my greatest joy next to my child, or my child first, and then my greatest joy is singing. But yeah, for me, even having had experience on the road and with some major artists and accolades, it never isn't exciting to step on a stage and perform. It really doesn't matter where, and it really doesn't matter in what forum.
Tell us about the record and what kind of style music you play.
Well, I would say if I had to generalize the styling, I would say it's like a folk rock. It's very a la Fleetwood Mac, or something of that classic kind of harmony driven, melody driven kind of a sound. That being said, I will say that if you were to listen to our record top down, one thing we consciously did was not allow ourselves to worry about a genre box, because we were just writing out of the love of writing. I mean, that was the whole point.
I'm a contemporary R&B artist, so you'll get a lot of soul, a lot of love songs, but you'll also get a lot of pop feel too. So you'll get your Usher, Chris Brown, as well as your John Legend feel. I grew up listening to a lot of soul music. We're talking about Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, Al Green.
So those people that nobody loves ever. They're so amazing.
Come on. So grew up listening to that in my household, and one of my fondest memories as a young man, I was 3 years old, and I'll never forget this. In my diaper, standing in front of a tube television. A lot of young people don't even know what that is, the one you turn the dial on. I got to watch the 25-year anniversary of Motown, and it was the first time Michael Jackson ever performed Billie Jean by himself as a solo artist. And watching that as a 3-year-old, I was just stunned. I was amazed. And I was like, that's what I want to do with my life. Not just sing, not just dance, but I want to entertain and make people feel something. I want them to have a moment with me that they'll never forget. I want them to have a moment that really impacts and changes their life. And at 3 years old, I knew that. So I started at 3 years old trying to learn the moonwalk, which was excruciating, but it made me super popular in elementary school, because every time we went to the playground, everybody was like, Lance, do the moonwalk. So it really stood out to me.
You have a whole lot of pressure then.
Absolutely.
As a last year's champion, what's it like to come back with that title and hopefully get it again?
Honestly, it's humbling. I got an opportunity to look at, I want to say it was 45, 44 semifinalists, and everyone in their own right was amazing to me. To see my city of Shreveport, Louisiana, holding a competition that is showcasing artists, not just in Shreveport, Louisiana, or even the surrounding areas. It's inviting people from around the country. And I thought that was amazing. To look at when it was dialed down to the top 10, going through and watching Ponderosa Grove and watching Chandler and watching all these other artists that are amazing in their own rights, it just took me back saying, okay, Lord, thank you for the opportunity and blessing me with the gift of music, because I get to not just do what I love to do, but I get to watch other artists do what they love to do, and they're great at it. You can see the expressions on their faces when they play their instruments, when they sing that last note. You just feel something.
I was very excited by looking at the 10 finalists. I did watch all 43 of the semifinalists because I'm a neurotic person like that. But, and I just want to know what's happening in music, and I love it. I was struck, one, by the diversity of sound, which I loved. Lance, you were, not that I'm putting anybody else down, but you were one of my favorites. I was like, okay. Not knowing that you had won last year, but and with friendly competition, now I'm coming for you. No, I'm
come on.
Shreveport, Louisiana was once a music capital. For those people out there who don't know, there were small artists that got their starts here with the names like Elvis and Hank Williams Jr. or Hank Williams Sr. These people played the hayride. They started their careers here, and part of what the goal is for the Prize Foundation this year is to start rebuilding Shreveport as that center point, those crossroads that every musician has to go through to find that success, to find that collaboration, to find that connection that is going to enable them to advance their careers. I mean, one of the important parts of Music Prize that the audience won't necessarily see is that Music Prize also has a conference attached to it this year called MPCon, where we're bringing in music industry professionals from around the country that have been specifically curated to help people like Candace and Lance and all the other musicians that are going to be a part of it. And they're going to be interfacing with those professionals with the hopes that those connections, help these musicians find the success they're looking for. I mean, some people might just want to tour. Some people might want to just put out an album. And we're going to help them do that this year. The audience gets to judge what's called the Power to the People Award. They have to see 3 bands. So the audience has to come and see 3 bands. So they can't just come and see one. They got to see 3, give the artists equal regard. And then they get to vote and they get to give out $1,000. But, the audience is going to get a great show. But I think that what is almost more important to me, or as important as that audience, is that our artists get to build that community and get to build that path forward. We are very lucky here in Shreveport, and certainly here at the Prize Foundation, to be able to host people like Candace and Lance and everyone else. And I can't tell you how excited I am to be a part of not only putting them on a stage, putting them in a conference together, but also as, rebuilding what was here and giving credence to it. And, for those who are out there, I mean, that MPCon is taking place at the Municipal in the ballroom. So, we are going to be, standing in the shadow of the giants that lived before us, with the intent that the giants that are the people in the room will be the giants of the future.
Wow,
that's
really
amazing.
cool.
And honestly, it sounds so silly, but I do believe that kind of energy, transmits through the walls. And I don't think, history goes unnoticed that way. I feel like it's something in our bones that musicians feel. I think it sets a tone that's pretty amazing. And also, the world needs as many music cities as possible.
Yeah, I agree.
Makes
I love
better.
music, and I've missed it, not being able to go to concerts and listen to live music as much over the past year and a half. Gregory, tell us some details about Music Prize, just so we can have that on record as far as when it's going to kick off. To the first weekend,
yes.
Which this is a 2-weekend event now, so you get lots more Prize Fest over a longer period of time.
We have split Prize Fest into 2 weekends to give everyone or every prize its room to grow. Music Prize and Fashion Prize are going to be weekend number 1. The 24th and the 25th at the Music Prize Garage, we're going to be showcasing 10 national bands with all genres covered by my guests. We don't have an orchestra, but we have at least pretty close with Candace and her crew. But for us, it's about putting some of the most amazing bands of every genre on a stage for our community to come and be a part of. I mean, it is certainly one of these things, we call it the Music Prize Discovery Showcase for a reason, right? Because you're there to discover the acts that you are going to want to tell your friends in the future that you were there. It is going to be one of those things that you don't want to miss, because this is special. It's something that we have created for the community, for the world, and we are so excited to put these music acts on stage, to get people back in front of live music, and you need to be there to see what is going to occur because it's going to be magical.